coat. Middle a little. Dress, I don't know where this came from. I think it was in a house I moved into. The leggings are from Primark. The boots are my, as always, eBay safety wellies, £10 bargain. This is the 3rd of March, 2022. It's a very muddy, wet day. This is lay of the land, my gardening vlog, general catch-up time. I'm going to show you what's been happening in the garden, or what's not been happening really, because not that much has happened since last winter. Let's go! So, starting with our border here, as I said, not that much has happened since last winter. The border kind of looks like crap. We still need to put an edging on it. This strawberry basket is falling apart. I'm going to take that apart soon because it just looks bad. Here is my plum tree. And we have buds on this. So we are going to get new leaves on that soon. That survived really well. So very happy with that. The rosemary all around the garden is flowering at the moment as well. I love early rosemary flowers. It's such a beautiful periwinkle light purpley blue colour. So very nice to see them. In the border, yeah, there's not much going on. We planted some bulbs, but honestly, I think they've kind of rotted. Our garden gets so wet. It's been not that wet winter, but a lot of bulbs that we planted just didn't come up. Cute little narcissi here, and further down the path you can see some daffodils. One bulb success story is these planters that I did last year with tulip and allium bulbs. This is an allium. These are tulips here in the corner. They're coming up quite well. The pansies that were in these pots unfortunately have died. But the tulips are doing okay. Here in the greenhouse, compared with last year, there's not much going on already. Last year, I decided to overwinter stuff, so I planted stuff in October and in September, and then overwintered it. But then I found when I planted it out in spring, it didn't actually take off that well, so you know, I didn't do it this year for that reason among many. But one thing I have done in here is a huge tidy up. So now all the pots and things are on that side. And I found that the soil underneath was actually in pretty good condition other than being a little dry. So I've given that a really good water, and I've sown loads of salad seeds here. That's what's coming up here now. These are all lettuce mixes. Not sure what this is. Maybe a red oak leaf lettuce. There's rocket in here and various others. And yeah, they're hopefully going to give us some cut and come again salad leaves soon. Of the seeds that I have planted, these were from early Feb, 7th of Feb. I'm going to do another load soon, probably this week or next week, because it's Thursday now. I've got peas. A few of these got nibbled, so they haven't come up, but the ones that didn't get nibbled have. I've just seen that I've got a sweet pea flower coming up and another one here, so that's great. These are cosmos, candy cosmos, so there'll be nice pretty pink flowers. Greyhound cabbages, a favourite of mine. These were broad beans and they have unfortunately rotted. I don't know why. Some years my broad beans just seem to rot. I don't really know what causes it. In the bed, I've still got a calendula flower going. These are my 3 grafted cherries. I need to take these outside actually. And I also sowed some peas here directly in the ground. So hopefully these peas are going to start climbing up the trellis. I can see that the 2 over there have germinated, which is great. And I did have a basil that was just a supermarket basil that I took home and planted, and that has died. They don't do well. Supermarket herbs do not do well with being replanted. This pelargonium's been overwintering in here, so it didn't die from any frosts. We actually had a really mild winter so far, so it didn't really need to come in, but it's quite happy here. The big camellia bush is about to burst into flower, so I'm really looking forward to that. And down here my azalea has survived. I do need to do some weeding. There's some nettles coming in. And this is a bit of a sad thing. Our cat Zero died in the winter. She died in December. And she's buried here now. I don't know why we don't have a marker or anything. That's kind of shitty. On the quad, I've got my garlic. Doing garlic again this year. I love me some garlic. This one doesn't have anything in. I tried to overwinter some cabbages in here, but the slugs got all of them. So nothing in here. Here, tried to do broad beans. Again, poor germination rates. I had one germinate and then just die. Not sure what's going on here. And this one has just been vacated because it was where my parsnips were. I finally dug up the last of them. I made parsnip soup. I did a cute little short video making that, so please check that out. So I think this year I'm going to try and do carrots in here because the soil is really lovely and loose and crumbly from what we're in here. In the bed between the shed and the greenhouse, I've got 2 more grafted cherries, one here, one on the right there. Hopefully they're going to work. My artichokes have been through the absolute wars. I had these slug mats, but they just kept getting bashed around by the wind, and then it was damaging the plant. I don't know how well they're going to survive. We're going to see. And also, I planted a lot of bulbs here. So there's a daffodil coming up there. I think that's a tulip over there. But again, a lot of those just don't seem to be coming up. Like I planted anemone and crocus ones. I don't know what's happening. I'm not seeing that much digging. So I don't think it's squirrels eating them. And they were planted quite deep. I don't know if just it was where they were stored in the house was too hot or something. I don't know. Here's a big change. I've put an edge on the bed here and scraped everything back. This was all grass and geranium. I've scraped all of this back, put down cardboard mulch, put down a whole bay full of compost and some leaves on top. Chopped back the sage, chopped back the rosemary. The sage was just getting out of control, and to be honest, we never really use it. So it's not really much point in having it here. Our rhubarb is coming on wonderfully. I mulched with newspapers around that and left a gap so they can come through. And just today I planted 2 new rhubarb crowns that I got from Wilko. One of them is Canada Red and the other one's called Raspberry Red, I think. And the nice thing about these is one of these varieties you can harvest as late as August. So that's going to really prolong our rhubarb season. Up here, there's not much going on here. Doing this hay was the worst idea ever. I think it's actually introduced couch grass into the garden. So don't do hay gardening. Yeah, it fucks everything up. But here I've got some onions going on. This was just an onion that was sprouting in my kitchen, so I just divided it into 4 and planted that out. The soil down here is pretty good quality. I'm not sure what I'm going to plant here yet. I haven't really decided. This is probably the prime spot in the garden. It gets really good sun. It's got the shed for support. So I've got to think hard about what I'm going to do here. Coming down this way, things are still a bit chaotic. There's just logs everywhere. I have been splitting some of them. I split a lot of them in the winter and brought them in. And hopefully I'm going to be using them in projects. We've also got some new branches here that have come from the hornbeam, which is this tree here on the left by our hay barn. And my dad and I got up there and just cut out a bunch of branches. There was a dead branch. There were a bunch that were overlapping and rubbing together, and they just needed a bit of TLC to open up the crown a little bit. One of the other big projects I did here recently was chopping back all of the brambles in this bluebell area. There was just a huge number of overlapping brambles that were smothering out the bluebells. I couldn't dig them up because I didn't want to damage the bluebells, but I've just cut them back. And that's going to be my plan to try and stay on top of that. Just keep cutting them back, cutting them back, cutting them back. Also want to work on ivy removal on this apple tree, because I'm worried that the ivy that's climbing up it is eventually going to just choke it out and cause some serious damage. In this gap here by the irises and between the apple tree, the plan is to make a pond. I just need to get funds secured for that. Moving on up here, I'm still having problems with this geranium here, just growing through everything. It grows through all my cardboard mulching. It's just really difficult to get rid of. It's a very thick corm, like a corm root thing with lots of energy in it, so it just keeps coming back and back and back. But one other thing that's come back and back is my bulbs from year one. So I've got tulips coming through, I've got daffodils. They're going to provide a pop of colour soon. Here on my gooseberry, you can see buds coming through. The leaves are just about to burst through on this. Last year, this plant really suffered from, I think it's gooseberry sawfly attack. It ended up with nearly all of its leaves eaten off. And it's just, obviously it's not going to survive long term if that happens every year. My autumn fruiting raspberries are doing pretty well. They're just starting to form leaves up here. I need to take out this ash tree that is coming out. And actually one of the projects I want to do here is making a better border for this. Maybe a nice woven border. And just trying to build up and up and up in this area. Just building up layers and layers of soil, of compost, of wood chip, to just raise things, because our garden's so boggy and also has a very strange topography. It seems to kind of undulate and whatever. Building this up is just going to provide a better conditions for my vegetables. So that's what I hope to do. Like I said, I'm really struggling with this fucking geranium that I hate so much. Oh, this bastard coming through everywhere all the time. You can scrape it back time and time again and it just comes back. So I don't really know what to do. I don't know whether I should just give in and actually just get the fork out and do a full dig over. Obviously I'm trying to do no dig. It's better in terms of like soil health and whatever. But when you're facing these perennial weeds, I just don't think it's always possible to adhere to that. Anyway, here's a happy little crocus that's just doing its thing. I'm happy to see that. This is the other thing. This is the reason I don't want to just mulch over everything, dig up everything, because you have all these cute little surprises coming through. But then there's all the non-cute little surprises, like fucking brambles, geranium, everything. Oh yeah, I've accidentally kind of created an onion patch. These onions were just here when I cleared back everything. These onions were just here, so I guess this is an onion patch now. The kale has done remarkably well and is actually starting to flower now. So, I don't know, has anyone eaten kale buds? Are kale buds good? Should I chop this off and try and eat this like sprouting broccoli? It looks kind of interesting. Will it die afterwards? Will it go perennial? I don't know. I'm excited to see. Ignoring the junk pile, up at the back I'm pretty happy with how things are going. My primroses have come through. These have literally burst into flower these past couple of days. The patch of red tulips is back. Those are going to be red tulips. And this is a success story. My muck heap is so good. Like, I'm not going to disturb it too much, but a month or so ago I went in with a fork and I turned it over to have a look at how things are going. It's breaking down nicely. I think it's going to be a dynamite fertilizer, maybe for late summer, giving things a boost in late summer. The girls are unfortunately still imprisoned. Yeah, I know, girls. Basically, there's an ongoing bird flu outbreak in the UK. I don't want my girls getting infected, obviously, because I like them a lot. Yes, even you, when you're being a bully. So they have to stay in. This has meant like a really huge increase in feed costs, because actually I didn't realise how much they forage their food until they're no longer foraging their food. And then you're like, oh yeah, actually, my chickens are pretty good at feeding themselves and only occasionally eat pellets. And now they eat loads of pellets. Lastly, as always, it's the me update. How am I doing? Yeah, I'm okay. I'm still at a job I don't like, which is not great. I have been applying for other jobs. I got offered a job in London and I turned it down because I literally couldn't make it work economically. There are jobs that are still offering 18.5 yearly and saying that's a competitive salary. Babes, that's the new minimum wage. And you're offering that for reception positions in central London? Like, really? Some good things. I got a new laptop. I've been experimenting with learning Blender and with a little bit of digital art too. I also got a library card, which means I've started reading books again, which is pretty cool. I like that. I have a Storygraph account. If you don't know what Storygraph is, it's an alternative to Goodreads. Goodreads is owned by Amazon now, and I don't like Amazon. I try not to use their products. So I'm on that now. I'll put a link to that in the description if you want to follow me on Storygraph and see what books I'm reading. But yeah, I'm doing really good. I've got a weird lump in my arm, and every time I bend my right arm at an acute angle like that, it feels like it's being pinched on the elbow. I think it's a ganglion, but I looked up elbow ganglions and apparently they're like really rare. So of course I have to be special and have the weird fucking elbow ganglion. Yeah, that's it. That's my vlog for this time. I'm really happy that some of you have rejoined me after my hiatus, and yeah, my video about how I hate hay bale gardening is doing really well. I've got like over 1,000 views on that, which is funny because it's like, oh, the video on the thing that I failed at and didn't enjoy doing is doing really well. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll see you next time. Bye.